My name is Sara Burrier. I've been creating art since I was very little, probably since I was able to hold a pen or pencil. I've been encouraged to draw since then. I started pretty much there, but as far as my memory can go, I really remember pivotally around second grade, third grade when Disney's Little Mermaid came out, and I had a friend in school with me at that time who could draw them from memory. I was in complete awe, and I wanted to be able to do that. I just remember thinking, I can do that, I can do that too, and just started drawing and really paying attention. So I feel like at that point is when I really kind of took drawing seriously. It wasn't just for fun anymore, for my motor skills. It was actually intentional. And thankfully I went to a elementary school that was all about the arts and about music, and so I was able to really follow that and be inspired by that. And my dad is an art teacher. He's been an art teacher since I was in first, second grade. So it's always been around me. It's always been provided for me. And then I ended up all the way through junior high and high school into college, graduated with a BFA in illustration. My faith influences my art in a very unique way. I guess not unique, but unique for me and a lot of people that I know. I come from a background of practicing Pagan, so I did a lot of spells and seances and tarot reading, and I did all kinds of things like that. And that was an influence in my art. I mean, I've been drawing fairies and mermaids, Little Mermaid, Ariel. I've always been interested in all that. Fantasia. So it was very easy to stick with that and draw that when I was a practicing witch, essentially. And my fairies and stuff, it's not that they were dark and morbid or anything, but they were heavy lined. They were, I definitely chose darker palettes, and I would draw the random vampire here or there. I loved black Sharpie. My metaphors in high school were kind of dark. I remember doing one piece with me at the bottom of a staircase as a metaphor, and there was blood everywhere, and that's how depressed I was. So, I mean, I did quite a bit of dark work. So then when I was in my early 20s, I came to know Christ personally, individually, and that changed everything. But my art, I didn't know where my art sat with that, because I drew fantasy. I drew things that are mythological legends, you know, old pagan Celtic stories and fairy tale folklore. And I mean, in college, that was my senior project, was folklore, and traveled to Scotland and learned all about the history and created artwork based on the huge royal family of the fairies. So where do fairies fit when you do that for years and years, and then Christ is in? So I did a lot of prayer, and it came to that for me, fairies are a expression of God's creativity, our emotions, and our relationship with nature. And as I continued to work from that concept on, over the years, it's become even more about sharing the light through those imageries. So there's still nature, and there's still the creation of things in these fairies, but I don't make them so wild that you can't connect with them. And that's important to me, that people connect with them, especially women. That has become, along with the light, the other thing that I feel God's moving me to try and talk about through my art, is the story about how women aren't we're not to be seen the way that our society sees us and that our culture sees us, and with all these photoshopped people, but that we are beautiful inside and out, that we all have a light to share, and Christ's light and Christ's love is what makes us all so beautiful, and we are his creation, his masterpiece. We, we're the last thing he created. We were the period on the whole thing of creation, and so we have value, and in the Bible we have value. It was women, and I think that we don't see that enough sometimes. And so my artwork now is I try to show women have strength in their posture or in their face, and they are filled with light and bright color, and have this emotion of peace. We're running around like crazy and our heads all over the place, and at least mine is. I'm sure other women can contest to that, but so when I paint and I draw, even if I'm depressed or unhappy, it's my way to connect with Christ and him to show me through the imagery that I'm creating, to remind me, you are mine and you are beautiful and you have my light and you carry my light and you're sharing my light. And when women look at my piece and are really moved by what they see, and men too, I mean, they're like, they see their daughter or they see their wife or they see their mother. I mean, they have these connections as well. It's just very magical for me to see God working through paint, working through drawing, working through this 2D illustration that's on paper, and be able to talk to people through that. And I get a lot of questions as to who it is that I'm painting, and I have painted women of the Bible, and I get to be able to share that with them. And or I'll paint a portrait of a face, and she wasn't originally created to be a woman of the Bible, but in the end her story as I was creating it became that. And I think in essence they all are part of Eve. They're all part of the lineage. They're all part of that. So what I try, and I guess that's what I'm trying to tell people in my work, is you are important, you are valuable, you were created for light and love and beauty, and regardless of what people tell you or what our social media tells us or whatever it is, that if we could step aside and look at who we are in his eyes, look at the artwork. I guess that's what I would hope that people would see when they look at my work, is that they see a mirror of who they are and their relationship with God and how God sees them. And you might not have blue hair, you might not have a mermaid fin, you might not, you might not have the long legs that I create sometimes, or a dress, in your wardrobe that matches, but the emotion that it comes through and the story that God wants to tell you through this paint, you'll hear it, and it's pretty mind-blowing when you do. And it hits me all the time, and I can't believe I get the opportunity and the blessing to create this work for him, and most ultimately for you.